afternoon, everyone, and thank you. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining today's session on the Initial Foothold exploiting network service misconfiguration. My name is Vasanka Patnaik, and I am a security engineer who work here in ThreadSys, your cybersecurity partner. So today we are not just looking at the complex movie shell hacking. Today we are going back to the basics, the initial foothold, how I attacker find an open door in a network and use that minor vulnerability to compromise a full system. So let's back to the slides. What is our agenda today? Uh, First, why reconnaissance matters. We will look at the network from an attacker's perspective, and second, the fundamental tool. We will discuss Nmap and how it discovers services, and secondly, the vulnerability, the Telnet misconfiguration, and the authentication. We will look further into this, and the live demonstration, and in last, the defensive strategies, how we can prevent us from that misconfiguration or that type of threats. Okay, so Nmap. What is Nmap? The industry standard tool, Nmap or the network map, is a open source tool. Think of it like a security guard walking around the building and notices the open windows and doors, if they are properly locked or not. It helps us systematically map the attack surface by reducing the attack surfaces. So Nmap works like that way. It helps us systematically map the attack surface by identifying exposed ports and the running services in it. How does it work? As you can see in the diagram, basically it is simply use the TCP/IP models handshake uh, algorithm. Basically, it sends a sync packet to the target host to connect. If the target replies with a sync ACK, we know the port is open. If the target replies with RST, means reset packet, then the port is closed. It is as simple as that. But knowing a port is open isn't enough for us. So basically, we have to look what particular services is running on that port. This is where the -sb flag comes in. Basically, this is a command in Nmap. So if we run that command against that port, it tells us that which services is running on that port. Basically, port 23 is port 80, as we know that is HTTP port. So if we run that command against port 80, so it comes with a version coming. If the server using Apache, so it comes with Apache version this and that. So this is critical finding because specific software version has specific vulnerabilities. So if we able to guess the version it's running on that port, then we can easily exploit that later by knowing what vulnerabilities lies with that software version. So what is the vulnerability we are going to discuss today? Telnet, the insecure protocol. Through we will do that. We will do that later in a lab. But I am just telling you that what is Telnet and what it does. So basically, Telnet is running on port number 23. Basically, it operates at layer 7 in the OSI model. While it allows for remote communication, it has a critical fundamental flaw that Telnet transmits all traffic in clear text, whether it's username, password, or whether it's data. It doesn't matter. It is transmit data in clear text. This means if I am an attacker sitting on a network and you log in via Telnet, then I can see your username, passwords, and whatever data you are sending clearly. So this is zero encryption. It is vulnerable to network sniffing and man-in-the-middle attacks. The solution, basically, Telnet is an old protocol that we used earlier, but it is now replaced with SSS, Secure Shell, and that SSS is running on port number 22, which uses strong cryptographic encryptions that is unable to guess what is the data they are sending between. Uh, so. Uh, so what is the vulnerability actually? The improper authentication. Now let's look at the specific vulnerability. Uh, the vulnerability is all on the improper authentication because and if we rank that vulnerability, then it comes under CWE 287. That we all know that. Basically this misauthentication happens when a system fails to verify user's identity correctly. Uh, if you use an victim's password and guess that password and you use that, so it is like impossible to guess that the user is logging or the attacker is logging. So in many cases we see we are using the default password that come first, like admin, like root. So this is where the risks coming. Why is it a high risk? Because if an attacker finds the services exposed to default credentials, then they don't need an advanced expert. They just simply type the password and the username, and they're successfully logged into your system. So this is high risk to the system and the organization, whoever using this. Okay, now we will jump into the demo. There you can see how it actually works, and let's see how it works actually in real life. So here we come to our attacker machine. Basically, we are using Kali Linux for this purpose, and let's see. So we have two VMs. First of all, this is our attacker VM. This is Kali, and you are using the second VM. This is the Metasploitable 2. This is the vulnerabilities. Basically, we use it for testing and attacking our attacks. So first of all, we have to know that what is the IP address of this vulnerable machine. For that purpose, we use our command ifconfig. So, what is the IP address of this VM? And here you can see in the second line, its address is 192.168.72.132. So now let's check whether it's connect to our attacker's machine or not. We type the basically we first send some package to confirm whether it's receiving our packets or not. You can see it's receiving our packet. Basically we done the ping command. Okay. Now, so that I told you earlier. We first use the command nmap -sb for knowing what all the ports and the services running on its specific IP address. So let's go nmap space -sb, then the IP address and enter. It takes few times and it shows us what are the ports are open and what are the services running in that port. So let's see, here it comes. So basically you can see there are lots of ports are open and you can see the versions that running on that exact port. So first one you can see 21, this is the file transfer protocol and its version and the SSH, and here it is our target Telnet. You can see that it's running on port number 23 and lots of other ports are opening and their services version you can see here. So we just focus into the TCP, the port number 23/TCP Telnet. So how we can log into that port? For that purpose, we use a framework, or you can say that's a tool. I guess some of you know that earlier. We use Metasploit framework for this purpose. So now log into the Metasploit console and the command is msf console, and we it takes few times and it's start. Okay, now it's started. So basically to log into the Telnet port, we have to prompt to the Telnet login. So that is a simple command for this. We use auxiliary scanner /telnet login. This is what it happens. When we use that command, it will prompt to the login to that remote login Telnet services. So here we go. Okay, that you can see it will redirect us to the Telnet login. So here is the main part. First, we have to decide the host. The host means the IP and that what is who is our target. So we have to enter the host address. For that purpose, we use this command 32. So now the main part comes that I told you earlier that some of services and some of the devices we are installing on our organization, we use that pre-default password that comes with from the manufacturer, or that comes with default password like that I told, that admin or admin password, like as simple as that. In this scenario, we use vulnerable machine for ethical reasons, that I can show you the real life scenario for some ethical reasons. So here we know that Telnet have a default password in that vulnerable machine. So we use that username password that we know already. But I will show you how default passwords we can use it. List of passwords, list of username, and brute force the login. So let's set the username. So the username we know that already. It is MSF admin, and we set the password as well as set password, and it is the exact same admin MSF admin. In real life scenario, many of people are using that kind of similar passwords or username. That is easy to guess or easy to crack. So let's set. Now simply run the command, and here you can see our login is successful on that exact IP address on the port that we mentioned, 23 Telnet. So in like that way, we can use these passwords to log into the Telnet module. So I told you that we can use that use a list of passwords, list of username. It is simple. First of all, in our notepad we have how many of you want. Like if you want to give hundreds of username, hundreds of passwords combination, it will try for you. So it is simple. You just set the username and the password file and set it to the login, and set the username file as well as. So it is as simple as that. Okay, we can't exploit it further for some ethical reasons. So I just told you that how some pre-default passwords can be vulnerable to your organization, like we did this. If you use a weak password combination like admin123 or password123, it easily guess. The Metasploit framework have the pre-default usernames and pre-default passwords list that can easily crack your weak passwords. So stop sharing. Okay, now jump to our slide. How we can prevent from that? Okay, so as you can see, how we can use Nmap to find the open ports, and how the services is running on that exact port, and how we can use Metasploit to automate the login process, and how we can easily guess that passwords. So now we're going to discuss about some defensive strategies and remediation checklist. So let's jump. What are the methods? So the first of all thing, we have to disable the telnet, because that I told you earlier, telnet transmits every data, username, passwords in clear text. So it is easy to guess, easy to intercept the request, and you can see the data what is sending or receiving. So now Telnet is replaced with SSH, the secure shell. Still, if we use Telnet, then there is some methods that we can use to secure it. So the second method that we use is MFA, the multi-factor authentication. If anyone can guess our password, still it can able to log in because it have two-factor authentication. So it is hard for the attacker to log in. Then the NAC, network access control, deploy firewall rules, access control lists. So whether whom to restrict, whom to allow. So it is useful for in that case. So the attacker can't log into your network without your permission. So these are some useful and real life remedies from that. So if you have any questions, then you can freely ask regarding NAC firewalls or about Nmap. Okay. Also, we are not getting any questions, so we are wrapping up this session. Thank you, all of you, attending today's session on the network service configuration. I hope this has been valuable. I am now happy to take a leave. If you have any question, then reach us out. Our team will reach you soon.